All right, man. So we're here. This is the first ever episode off the cob.
Let's
I
go,
got
baby.
I got my brother with me. You're actually the inspiration for the name off the cob. But let me introduce you to our listeners, the people that are gonna be listening here. Man, I got Shane Greene with me. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drafted 2009 to the New York Yankees. 10 years later, an All-Star. 2019. You get, I guess you get labeled as a baseball player because that's what you've done your whole life. But man, to me, you're so much more. Man, I think you're one of the most interesting, outstanding, mentally tough people I know. And your career, some of the ups and downs in your career have made you that way. So I kind of want to dive into some of that. Tell me how you felt just getting drafted in 2009. Like, where was your headspace at as a little kid? Or a little kid?
Wow.
I guess
Well,
you was a man.
yeah. I mean, as a kid, obviously, just you play the game that your parents signed you up to play. I was extremely blessed that my parents chose baseball instead of like soccer because it worked out for me.
But you were
But
garbage when you were young, correct? Like, you weren't good.
I mean, when I was young, I like still on the little field, like little league. I was playing shortstop, uh, and like still hitting the top of the lineup ish. I wasn't absolute trash back then. Like I was all right. But once I got to high school, like once we got onto the big field and like it started being a different game and you had to like hone into a position, that's kind of when it started to change for me. Like in high school, my freshman year I was on junior varsity, but my sophomore and I played third base and a little bit of outfield and pitched. And then my sophomore year I made the varsity team, but I didn't pitch one inning.
But
And basically
you made it as a pitcher.
I made it as a pitcher only. So back then, pitcher only like wasn't. I was the only really person on the team that was a pitcher only. I think we might have had one other pitcher only on the team. Now it's much more common. Most of the pitchers on the team are pitcher onlys. Uh, but back then, and what was that? I graduated in '07, so 2005 wasn't as big of a thing. But I would go to junior varsity. I probably threw like 4 or 6 innings or something. I don't know on junior varsity that year, but I was on the varsity team and I was at every game and every practice with the varsity team, but I didn't play one inning. Essentially, I was I wasn't given the duty to like fix the mound and rake the mound. I kind of took pride in it because I didn't have shit else to do because I wasn't contributing in any other way to the team. So I like
Wasn't playing.
yeah, so I took it upon myself to like take some pride into something, and like I did. I took a lot of pride in it. Like if the pitcher pitched bad, it was because I didn't prepare the mound good enough. But
Took it
that's kind of
personally.
how it. Yeah, yeah. But that's kind of how it all started in high school, and then in 2009, I've been in college for 2 years. I just came out of Tommy John surgery. Going into the draft, like I was told that I might get drafted by one scout, but like it all happened so quickly for me that I couldn't even grasp what was going on. I was literally just playing Call of Duty with my friend and had the draft on the computer. The speaker was on and the computer died and we didn't even notice because we were playing Call of Duty. And the next thing you know, I was drafted.
And this was coming off of a Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I had Tommy John after my freshman year.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did that create doubts in your mind? Like, yo, man, I'm coming off of an injury. Were you kind of too young and naive at that point? You're like, yo, I'm playing baseball and I already know it.
Definitely young and naive, but it actually did the opposite of creating doubts because again, I was never really like great in high school. I didn't throw like super hard. My junior year, I pitched really, really well. My senior year, I kind of struggled. I didn't throw hard. I topped out at like 87 miles an hour, 88 if I was lucky. And then I had one college offer, went to that college obviously because it was the only offer I got. Was there my freshman year, still was throwing on the best day of my life. I hit 89 a couple times, and then I had the surgery and I was actually going to quit playing. Like at that point in my life, it was like, what's the point, right? But my mom told me basically, no, you're not. And she's like, I'm going to figure out like the best doctor that you can go to. And next thing you know, she did a bunch of research and reached out to me to tell me what doctor I'm going to go see. And it turned out that that doctor was actually the team doctor for the college I was at in Pensacola. And his name's James Andrews. And she's like, you need to go see him. He's in Pensacola. And I'm like, wait a second. That's the guy who told me I needed Tommy John in the first place. So I went back to see him and scheduled the appointment and had the surgery with him, and then transferred from there to Daytona Beach. And then in that moment, or that, not that moment, but like the process in which I was coming back through the rehab, that was kind of when it was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this surgery, right? There's, if you Google it or whatever, especially back then, it's like, oh, you always come back better than ever after Tommy John or whatever it is, you know? So I knew that, like, if I had a chance to be good, this was it. Like, it was going to be the first time in my life that I had a full year to like work out and focus on it and not just play all the time. Cause when you're from Florida, you play year round. And so, and the first time in my life that I was on like a workout schedule, like every day, and essentially that's where like I started to get the work ethic that I kind of have now, where it's like, all right, if this isn't going to work out, it's not because I didn't do enough. And that's kind of where all that started. But again, on draft day, like I wasn't necessarily expecting to get drafted, but I was told to pay attention.
So you must have had a good year up until that injury to get you to the status. Because like, we're talking, right, like you said, hey, high school, you didn't really play that much. Senior year, velocity wasn't great, but you must have that first year of college, then you had the injury and you were already on the pros radar.
Yes and no. I did pitch pretty well, but I wasn't like, if you Googled my name, nothing was going to come up. Like, I wasn't a superstar by any means, but I did pitch well. But after I had Tommy John, or when I had after my freshman year, when I had the surgery, the school I was at previously, the University of West Florida, the head coach there told me that they were going to take my scholarship away from me and I could earn it back once I could pitch again. So I respectfully told him to kiss my ass and I left and I went to Daytona Beach Community College. When I went there, I spoke to the head coach there and he gave me the opportunity to use their facilities to do all my rehab and everything else with a chance to walk on the following season. So that's what I did. I continued my relationship with him. I did all my rehab and stuff essentially on my own. I would go to the field to long toss with my roommate who also had Tommy John. After we were roommates at UWF as well. He happened to have Tommy John. We both left together, went to Daytona Beach together, rehab together. And then when I was there, at the end of that year, I was like just getting able to pitch again. So me and my roommate were both going to pitch in the Florida Summer League, which is like a collegiate wood bat league that a lot of college players play in. And I was going to pitch in that. Well, leading up to that, I reached out to a guy named Jeff Deerdorf, who, when I was like 9, 10 years old, he was playing third base in AAA with the Yankees. And I was going to him for hitting lessons. So throughout the course of my life, he just kind of became a family friend. And then in this moment, fast forward to now, I'm at Daytona Beach Community College. He is a scout for the Yankees, like an area scout. So I called him and asked him, like, hey, do you have any relationships with local schools? I'm about to pitch in this college league in the summer. I would like to not have to walk on. Like, if I could get some kind of, I was on Bright Futures at the time. I don't know if you know what that is, but
That was so I'm from Florida.
all right. I don't know how like old it
I'm
is
s-
or
I'm
new
s-
it
I'm,
is.
I'm smart.
So I was on Bright Future, so I didn't need like that much from a school for baseball to make it free for me, right? So I asked him, could he watch me throw a bullpen or two to talk to whatever college coaches he had great relationships with to like come watch me pitch during the summer. And I threw for him. I threw a bullpen for him, and afterwards he's like, they send me all over the state to see this. But that day was the first time in my life I threw over 89, and I was touching 92 in like a bullpen. And
So like
then
you made it based off of relationships, not because you was like a crazy stud pitcher.
yeah, it was who I knew, not what I knew, and it was the
Yeah,
right place at the right time. And I threw for him, and then he had another scout come watch me throw the next week, and I threw for them. And then the next week after that, they had me go to Tampa to throw at the Yankees minor league complex, and that was the first time I would say I balled out because that was a big moment for me. And I punched out two, and I hit 94. And then it was like 10 or 12 days after that was the draft, and they drafted me. So it all happened super fast. So again, like on draft day, to answer that original question, I was just kind of like,
playing
he
Call of
told me to,
Duty.
yeah, like I was playing Call of Duty, and he told me like, yo, pay attention after the 10th round. So I just turned it on, and
Damn, though,
that was
that's
it.
wild. And
Yeah.
then 10 years in the league, you become an all-star.
Well, 10 years in pro ball. The first 5 I was in the minor leagues.
All right, 5 years minor, then 5 years in the show, and then you
Yeah.
become an all-star. So it's a long journey in baseball. It's not just like, man, you're
Yeah.
drafted in, you're in there. What all right, here's a good question. What would you want fans to know about like life in the majors or a picture in the majors that they might not know?
I would probably say the minors. What I would want them to know is more about the minors because what they don't understand is the grind for the minor league baseball player, especially back when I was in the minor leagues. Things have changed a little bit since then. They make a little bit more money now, and the team is responsible for putting them in housing. But back when I was in the minor leagues, none of that was a thing. The most I ever made in the minor leagues was $1,600 a month, and I had to pay $15 a day to the guy that did the laundry at the field and provided us with food, and I also had to pay for my own rent during the season. So I was walking away with, I don't know, 2 or 300 bucks a month, maybe 4. On top of that, you're riding buses across the country, and now that now they've changed it to where the minor league teams play the same team for 6 days straight, and then they have a day off to travel, and then they play the next team for 6 days straight. But back in the day, it was just like the big leagues where it was 3 or 4 game series. So you would play 3 games in Charleston, South Carolina, and then your next game would be in Kentucky, and
On a
that's it
bus.
on a bus. So
Yeah.
you get on the bus after the game in Charleston. You drive 10 hours through the night. You get to your hotel at 7 in the morning. You have a game that night at 7, and you're the starting pitcher, and you're going to be judged on your performance that
Oh,
night, right? And not on top of that, talk about rest, recovery, and food. Well, I didn't rest because I was on the bus. I probably drank to try to sleep a little bit, like I was probably drinking a little booze so I could fall asleep, and then I would eat whatever I could. So the McDonald's or the Burger King or whatever the gas
oh.
station food that we could stop at, you're eating taquitos or Big Macs, and then now you got to go pitch. And the fans that are in the stands at the minor league games, like back in the day, we also used to have to chart because they didn't have TrackMan. And by that, I mean, like, TrackMan takes all the data. Back in the day, when I wasn't pitching, I had to sit in the stands behind home plate with a piece of paper and write down, like, was it a fastball? How hard it was? Where was it located? What was the result of the pitch? What was the next pitch? How hard it was? Where it was located? What was the result of the pitch? And you'd be sitting in the stands doing that and hearing fans talk about the players on the field because they think you're a scout,
Yeah, yeah.
and they'd be talking about how, oh, these guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, like they're living a luxurious life, and they have no idea that I'm living in a 3 bedroom with 5 other guys. 2 of them are married, and their wives are living in the place too.
And this is someone drafted by the Yankees. Like you've
Oh
been
yeah,
drafted by the Yankees and this is your life.
when I was in Double A with the Yankees, I was living in a 3 bedroom apartment with 5 guys. 2 of them were married. Their wives were living in the apartment too, and I was one of 2 guys living in the living room on an air mattress.
God, no, that's so for everybody listening, like
Yeah.
that's so
It's and we were responsible for paying the rent. That's why we had so many guys in one place. Like
yeah, because you had to pay the rent.
yeah, they would help us out. Like they had relationships with like the apartment complex so that like they knew that it was players basically, and they would like try to help us, but now the team is responsible. So now it's like there's not guys living in the living room on air mattresses anymore. There's one guy to the room. That the team puts you there. Like your living is free, essentially. Like their relationship with them now is different than it was when I was doing it. I had
Yeah,
to pay my own rent.
the kids got it made now.
I don't know if
They
they
got
got it made because
it
the minor
easy.
league, yeah, the minor leagues is definitely still a grind, no doubt about it. But there's a reason why they changed those rules. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely, yeah, I can hear that. So, like I was saying on your intro, you're one of the more positive, mentally strong people I know. What are some of the things that's allowed you to have the mentality that you have? Well, I appreciate that.
I mean, I got it tattooed on my arm for a reason. Allow your journey to be your strength. Like I'm the only person that's ever lived my life. I'm the only person that's ever took the steps that I've taken. So I'm the only person that's ever had to deal with it. And if I can actually hone into that being what makes me stronger than everyone else, then it does. Instead of being the victim, you know?
And what makes you uniquely you. That's
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
and then and then the other part of that too is like I said at the very beginning, like my parents signed me up for baseball and not soccer, and that worked out for me. If they signed me up for soccer, who knows what. So like
Yeah.
it's the energy was right. I was at the right place at the right time. I asked the right questions. If I don't ask Jeff to watch me throw for those colleges, what happens? So like who relationships, don't burn bridges, work really hard, never settle, like all of those things wrapped up into one. But then once you get into pro ball, like it's obviously the lifestyle is different, like we just talked about, but it's also different mentally as well because it's now a business. There's players getting moved up and down around you. You're looking at their numbers versus your numbers, trying to figure out why it wasn't you or why it was you or, all these other factors. That's where you came in my life and, we would do mental stuff together and learning like how strong and how important the subconscious is
Yeah.
really, really essentially led to me becoming an all-star and, like, dealing with those failures at the big league level better
Right,
because
because no
the
matter what failures, right, there's always failures.
yeah, like,
Real failures.
one of the things I tell young players now is the Hall of Famers weren't necessarily more talented than everybody, but what they were for sure was better at dealing with the failure.
Yeah. You said something that, man, I find interesting when I talk about sports. A Hall of Famer in your sport, if we're talking about hitters, right, they fail 70% of the time. They're successful 30% of the time, and you're the best to ever do it. Right? I mean, that's insane. I think that's why people say hitting a Major League Baseball might be the hardest thing to do in professional sports.
Yeah, well, the numbers are for sure stacked against you in baseball when it comes to that because you got a round ball, you're hitting it with a round object, and it's moving really, really, really fast. And it's also moving like up, down, side to side. And then there's 8 guys out there trying to catch it and throw it to get you out.
But the pitcher, I think then we can say the pitcher has the advantage
Statistically, yeah.
statistically. But then you also said something interesting. You could throw the perfect pitch and somebody can just mash your shit. And it's like, damn, I put
Yeah.
that ball at the perfect velocity, exactly where I was supposed to put it, and it got mashed.
Yeah.
And you got to
Baseball is
overcome
I
that.
think that baseball, if it's not the only one, it's one of 2 maybe. But I always say it's the only sport in the world where you can do everything right and suck, because I can throw the right pitch,
Yeah.
execute it perfectly, and then give up the game-winning homer off of that pitch.
What's the other one? What's
I
the
don't
other
know.
sport?
I'm just giving it the
Right? Because I mean, I think every other sport isn't like that. Golf, man, you hit the perfect shot, it's the perfect shot.
yeah,
And you roll the perfect putt, it's gonna go in the hole.
yeah, you take the perfect shot in basketball,
It's
it's gonna
going
go in.
in.
Maybe football, you as a quarterback, like, you could make the perfect pass and the defender makes a hell of a play,
Yeah. Where the receiver
or
drops it.
yeah, or the ref calls pass interference or, whatever, like, something bad happens, but I think that I think that baseball is still special and the way that there's so much out of your control. The ball leaves your hand, or even as a hitter, like once the ball leaves your bat, there's
Yeah.
like there's so many human elements and none of it's in your control that it's again the game is based off of who's gonna fail the best
So yeah, that's wild to hear. Give me your biggest challenge. What's the like the biggest challenge, hardest thing you went through in your career?
right now,
What you're going through right now?
right now.
Okay. What is that?
36 years old. When I was 30, that was 3 years ago. In 2021, I was going into my first free agent year. Essentially, it's supposed to be the year that you sign your big deal, change your life and your family's life forever. And because of COVID, the teams were telling me that they didn't have a whole lot of money to spend, so they couldn't offer me much money. And I was extremely prideful and thought that they should be offering me way more money. And essentially, they didn't, so I held out. Fast forward to where I'm at right now. I spent the last 3 years in the minor leagues, essentially. I pitched in the big leagues a couple times, but spent most of my time in AAA. And all that happened very quickly. Like in 2019, I was an all-star. In 2020, I was one of the better relievers in baseball. And then in 2021, I signed late and I sucked. And then the next year, I was in AAA. And the next year, I was in AAA. And then last year, I was at AAA again. and I blew out my flexor. I pitched like shit, and then I blew out my flexor, and then I rehabbed my flexor here at home, um, a little bit with you, and then, a lot also with RSP trying to do, like, the velocity stuff and trying to get a locker and a chance to play again at the age of 36 after being in the minor leagues essentially for 3 years. It's extremely difficult, and clearly I'm at the house right now, so I don't have a locker this season. There's only I don't know what today's date is. It's the 11th, so there's around 50 games left in the baseball season, so my chances of playing this year are, I won't say they're gone, but they're slim probably. So, you know, dealing with that and figuring out what to do next and how to do it next and what's the plan and fighting the battles of, am I wasting my time trying to play still? I believe I can play, but if it was up to me, I'd be playing, obviously. So,
Yeah.
the battle that I'm fighting isn't necessarily in my hands. So then fighting that, and then also fighting, like, even saying that out loud is putting that energy into the world. So of course I don't have a locker, so like all these things all day long, every day, I would say right now is probably the most challenging thing.
Yeah, well, man, if anybody is gonna navigate their way through it, man, I know it's you, and I know on the other side of whatever happens, whether you play again, whether you don't play again, I know you're gonna be successful in whatever it is you choose, just because of who you are, the wisdom you have, how willingly you are to share it with people. Man, everybody you come around, you touch their lives for the positive.
I appreciate
Whatever,
that.
yeah. So whatever ends up happening, man, I know it's gonna be something good for you. I guess stories don't always end up the way that we think they will, but man, it's
For
part of
sure.
the amazing thing of life.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the hardest things, right? Where it's like, I am kind of stubborn and I do believe that no matter what I do, I'll be successful at it. So that's why then it leads to the thing where it's like, am I wasting my time? If I put this time and effort into something that I can't control, I'm going to be successful. And you know what I mean? Like, so if I stop putting my time and effort in that, am I giving up? I'm not going to give up. So then it's, what do you do? Well,
You do
then you,
what you
then you,
love.
yeah, you fight that balance and figure it
Yeah,
out along the way. It essentially is what I'm doing. Like, I'm not ready to give up, but I'm also
yeah.
trying really hard and nobody cares.
Man, you do what you love as long as you love doing it, and I think you'll know when that time comes. It's not now because you haven't made that decision. Right,
Yeah,
present
for
moment's
sure.
all we got. So shit, just keep doing what you love, man. Keep grinding at it. Give me the like your pivot point, like the pivotal point in your life that kind of, I don't want to say catapulted you to be who you are, or caused you to be who you are, but where's that one point in your life where you're like, man, this changed me, or this allowed me to become who I am, whether it's making the all-star game or an injury that you overcame. Like, what's that point for you?
First thing that came to my mind when you asked that question, nobody's ever asked me that question, by the way. Great question. The first thing that comes to my mind is my uncle. So my mom's brother, his name was Tom White. He was in the military basically his whole life. And when he was in the military, he also was a boxer, and he was, I don't know the exact credentials, but essentially he was like the heavyweight champion of whatever kind of military boxing league there was back in the day. When he was done boxing, he trained a few Olympic medalists in boxing. And so when I was a kid, I always kind of just looked up to him, uh, in a way of like the competitor, like
He's a fighter, military guy and a
he
fighter.
was, yeah, he was a military guy, he was a fighter, and he had that aura about him. And when I was a kid and anytime I was ever at his house, it was like he wanted to put me through a workout or,
Yeah, he's the tough uncle.
yeah, exactly. And he actually, the first time I ever like did a workout, I would go to his house in middle school after school. My mom would drop me off, and then, or he would pick me up, and I would go to his house and he would put me through, he was like my first trainer. Like, he would put
Yeah,
me through workouts. But fast forward to, I should know this. He I had to be, if that was 14, last year was 13, it had to be 2012,
hmm
2011 or 2012. He was extremely sick with cancer. He was in Houston, seeing some kind of specialist for the type of cancer he had. He had leukemia, but it was some kind of like special kind that they don't see very often, and he had to go see the specialist, whatever.
yeah.
And they cleared him to go home. But the whole time that he was in the hospital for cancer, I would talk to him on the phone extremely often, because we were obviously close. Um, when I was a kid back in the day, when he was even putting me through those workouts or whatever, uh, he would always call me Airborne instead of calling me by my name. Fast forward to him having the cancer, and, when he was in Houston and we would talk on the phone, I would always tell him to hurry up and get out of the hospital so we can go fishing or something. And his response would always be, "Don't worry about me, I'm airborne." And then that transformed into me just saying airborne and him saying all the way, and that was our goodbye.
Hmm.
Okay. Now fast forward, the doctor clears him, says he's good, cancer free, everything is good, life is great. Just got to check in every few months. Flies back home, he's at home, he's doing better, like he's able to walk on his own, like he's doing all these things. He's obviously a fighter, so he's grinding, he's fighting along the way. He's probably making it look easier than it is. And
Yeah.
then one day, I don't remember exactly what happened, but one day basically like my aunt had to call 911 and they had to rush him to the hospital because like something, I don't know if he started bleeding or something happened. Took him to the hospital. At the hospital, everything's good. They got him under control. Like he's fine. All is good. I'm actually at the hospital like 2 or 3 days after that. It might have been a week after that. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I'm there. I'm with him. We're hanging out. Me and my dad are there, uh, talking to him. He's in great spirits. Like life is good. All is good. Probably going to be out in another 4 or 5 days. They just need to make sure some vitals are at a certain whatever, right? We drive home. That was in Orlando, so we drive to Claremont, like 45-minute drive. When we get home, my aunt calls my dad hysterical. Something happened where his white blood cells started attacking his body. Drive back to the hospital, get there. Doctor's like, "Hey, we gotta put a breathing tube down his shit to help him breathe." We didn't get that much information, so we are just like, "Yeah, obviously, like whatever you got to do." What I know now that I didn't realize then was they were putting him in an induced coma with a breathing tube so they could breathe for him. But I went into the room with my aunt when that happened, right before they were putting him under, and essentially I was there for like what turned out to be his last words. But I was there. I hugged him. As I was hugging him, I said airborne, and he like dapped me up basically and said all the way. And then my aunt spoke to him, told him what was going on, and then we left the room. They put him in a coma and he never came out. So that essentially for the rest of my life, that gave me like saw his whole body shaking in that moment, like he was fighting so hard, and I'll never forget that. So anytime I'm ever doing something that's extremely difficult, I think to myself, like if he could fight as hard as he was fighting in that moment, this ain't shit. And that kinda, like, set me off into a whole nother thing when it came to, like, my training or, like, whatever end game shit I was dealing with. Like, when I would get into those moments with your back against the wall, like, that's what I would think about, basically.
Man, it explains a lot about you. I've
And
been
that
at
was yeah, I could probably cry right now. I don't talk about it much, but that was a
well,
big moment.
I didn't mean to make you cry, but no, that I can see where you get that fighting spirit from. Man, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit just to and maybe liven things up after almost making you cry. I apologize for that, but
Nah, don't apologize, man.
right off the top of my head, this is just quick thinking. Glaviner Smoltz,
Smoke.
big unit or Nolan Ryan,
Nolan.
bigger Pac.
Mm, this is a conspiracy type question. I listen to more Pac. No, I don't listen to him that much, but recently I've seen some conspiracy videos about Pac where I'm like, nah, I don't
He was Puffy's boyfriend. You seen those?
yeah, essentially,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what you was referring. I hope that's not true, man. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
but it's
I
you know
grew up
me.
listening to Pac, man. I'm like, no, you know us, man. We're
Yeah,
quick to dive down any conspiracy. Give me your best. What's your best conspiracy right now?
right now, I think right now, I don't necessarily know if it's the best conspiracy. I would describe it more as one that has started to become more of something that I probably believe in. and that is that these things that these people are telling us were dinosaurs were actually dragons.
I really want to believe that dragons for real because I think that's cool as shit.
Well, I'll tell you this, it makes way more sense that they were real than the T-Rex.
You're gonna have to tell me about that one. I saw a video the other day about dragons, and as I was watching it, I watched the video, and you're like, yeah, shit. I mean, that makes sense. Whether it's flat Earth, round Earth, moon landing, so on and
Yeah,
so forth, you listen to it, you're like, yo, that's one thing. You ever listen to Joe Rogan's podcast?
I have listened to a few. Honestly, I should listen to more, but I don't.
He's got like, man, he brings people on his show that really like do that stuff, like rocket scientists, like
Mhm.
NASA engineers. Man, one time I just want him, like, he's very respectful, lets them talk, let them tell their stories. But like in my mind, two things happened in the moon landing. One, there's no fucking chance we did it. Or two, we did it and made it look like there was no fucking chance we did it because they saw some shit on the moon that they weren't supposed to see. Like some alien shit.
You want my opinion?
Yeah.
There ain't no chance.
No, according to the information we have, like the videos and stuff fake. That's all fake. 100% bullshit fake. What was it the other day? Didn't they just try to like shoot up a rocket and it like barely made it out of the atmosphere?
Uh,
I think that
I
happened
I
like last week.
yeah, I think I saw that, and the video I saw was trying to say that it hit the firmament,
I don't even know what a
but
firmament is.
the firmament, I'll tell you what the firmament is.
What's that?
This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. Uh, so like the glass part of the snow globe,
Yeah,
that's the firmament.
the Truman Show shit.
Yeah, that's the firmament. The firmament is what, and I don't know the Bible very well, so hopefully somebody can comment on this and tell me exactly what it says. But I'm pretty sure in the Bible it says something along the lines of God separated the waters from above and below with the firmament.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, maybe someone might chime in on that and explain it a little better.
But the firmament is the basically what's keeping
The
outer
glass
space.
ceiling. The glass ceiling. So we've never gone to outer space. No one's ever touched outer space that we know of.
Well, I think if there is a firmament, then there's no way we've ever been there.
It's impossible.
If we've been there, then there is not a firmament.
So like all those
I,
satellites and stuff, where are those? Or that's fake. That's fake news.
well, that's where it gets tricky because, like I
Who
said,
knows?
if those are real, then obviously there is no firmament unless they're inside of the firmament
Yeah.
because
I
we
don't
don't know how high, we don't know how high or far away that is. But that the thing is, this is when things start getting
get tricky.
they're all connected, right?
Yeah.
So if there is a firmament, that means that the sun and the moon are inside the firmament, and if the sun and the moon are inside the firmament, then for sure the satellites could be.
Yeah. Well, just one of them things like where it's like I'm just
So
not smart enough to really have a good answer for a lot of
no,
those
I
things.
don't.
I hear
Again,
things I'm
this
like,
is
man, could be.
entertainment purposes only, but it is an extremely interesting conversation, and I do think that what I can tell you is that I don't think that people talk about what the fuck is going on more often or
Oh,
enough.
at all.
Yeah,
Or
like
we go about our lives and
we're.
whatever, we're
I
our
think we
daily
should be
things
trying to
of
figure
work.
out. Yeah, we should be trying to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on way more often.
So like right as kids, we're taught, the moon landing, USA, we're the first ones to land on the moon. Like once like with the internet, people are questioning that left and right, right? Like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, everyone's like, yo, like they won't even touch the question when people have
Mhm.
asked them, like, how the fuck don't we dive a little deeper into that and be like, yo, what's really happening here?
Like
Like we
what?
just that was bullshit. Like we faked that.
Well, have you seen the movie?
Before.
It's kind of new. It's about the moon landing. The whole movie the whole movie is it's about the
It was
movie
faked.
the movie is about it. The movie tells us what happened. In my opinion, the movie is telling us exactly what happened, but the movie is about essentially before the moon landing, they hired a crew of people to create a
A fake moon
cinema
landing.
of what it would look like if we landed on the moon. And one of the people that was in charge of doing that, like they were also sending people to the moon during that time, but the government wanted to create the perfect moon landing basically. and to make sure that they had the footage to make the moon landing look the way they wanted it to look while the people were going there because they weren't sure if it was going to be successful or not. And then at the end of the movie, it's a fictional movie, entertainment purposes only. At the end of the movie, they used the real, I'm pretty sure they used the real life footage.
Man,
They ended up using
somebody
like the real footage instead of the cinema footage, but the whole movie was basically telling us that this is what they did, in my
somebody
opinion.
comment and let me know what movie that is. So me personally, I got too many questions. So one, I can't even drive down Narcoossee Road in Lake Nona without my cell phone dropping a call. So now we're saying back in the 60s, the president was talking on a landline to a buddy on the moon, live
That was
feed,
that
live,
was the video I saw. That was the video I saw that got me off the moon landing.
no delay whatsoever, just straight live, right? Two, the little rocket that they landed on the moon had enough power to just take off kind of shakily from the moon and make it back safe to Earth. So questions there. And then the biggest one for me is like, yo, no one's ever done that again. Like no one ever wanted to walk on the moon again.
Let me also add that who set up the camera when the thing landed and when it took off? Who set that camera up on the tripod?
Like when Buddy was coming out and he was the first person to step on the moon, the camera was already there.
The camera was already there.
It's a good question. So
Like
either
if
he
I'm
came out and set it up before, and then he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna do it again."
yeah, and this is my first. It's like if you're gonna make a TikTok, you got to put your camera in the refrigerator first before you open the fridge to grab your thing out of the fridge.
That's a great point. I never even thought about that one. Yeah. So me too many questions. I'm calling bullshit. I don't take it.
Yeah,
But that one's kind of obvious to me. I think there's other crazy conspiracies that we can go into, but we won't do that yet.
entertainment purposes only. Everyone
Absolutely
is entitled to their own opinion.
cool. So man, we're
As far
coming
as
up.
I know, we landed on that fucker, and we just never wanted to go back.
That's only if they found some crazy alien shit out there, and the aliens are like, "Yo, y'all can't come back here, but we're gonna give you information." I don't
How
know.
long you want this? How long you want this podcast to go for?
Nah, I know we could do this all night. Now I'm gonna hit you with a couple of other quick rapid fire stuff. How long you been in Orlando now?
I was born and raised here.
All right, so give me the best sushi in Orlando.
Shit, Kabuki.
It's got to be right. I agree.
It's got to be Kabuki. I would say Kabuki's probably top 5 in the country. Okay, let me say it this way. It's one of those things where like Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani are obviously the best players in baseball, but there's a lot more players in the show. Like once you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to a specific level, like that's just the level you're at. There,
Mhm.
Kabuki is the show. I don't know
That's
if
the
they're
show on
the
sushi.
yeah. I don't know if they're the Shohei Ohtani, but they are for sure in the show.
Yeah, they're starting.
Yeah,
Overall, best restaurant in Orlando for you. Favorite restaurant.
that's a hard question.
Quick, you got 10 seconds.
Yeah, I would say either Kabuki or Frescas.
Fresco's is good too. I like
But
Fresco's.
also don't you can't sleep on North Italia, man.
I've been there once. I can't really form a good opinion about it yet
Well,
because
and
I'm
it's
mad.
more of like a chain,
Oh,
so it's hard.
I know that.
Yeah, it's more of like a chain vibe, but their chicken parm. Okay, so full disclosure, I don't like red sauce on my pasta. So when I order chicken parm anywhere, I ask if they'll put white sauce on the pasta. North Italia already does that. Like that's how it comes. So that's huge for me.
Pretty sure that's not chicken parmesan. Then if you do that, that's
Well,
got to be something different.
the Parmesan has red sauce, but the pasta has white sauce.
All right, so you get the chicken parm with the red sauce, but then you got white sauce in your pasta.
And
I got it.
that's how I customize my order even when I'm at Fresca's. I'll get the red sauce on the veal parm and then I'll get white sauce on the pasta.
So North Italia had you at hello, basically.
Basically, yeah. So they, full disclosure, they got a spot in my heart just because they do it right.
Give me the best breakfast in Orlando.
What is it called? Sevens? You know what it's called?
7 bites.
7 bites. Yeah.
Is that breakfast though? Because I know when we went, like they got the chicken pot pies and all that other crazy
Yeah,
stuff. But I don't know if that's
it's like
breakfast.
very brunchy, probably more brunchy, and it's also super like southern, like gravy and biscuits and mac and cheese and that kind of shit.
When we went to when we was in Texas, we went to this spot. I don't know if it was called the Broken Egg, but it was the egg something. And I was super impressed by their breakfast. And now I see a place here in Orlando called the Broken Egg, and I've always wondered if that's the same spot that we went to in Texas and then moved here.
Maybe.
Do you remember that place or no?
Yeah, no, I do, but I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, me neither. I'm gonna have to look that one because I went back there the other day to Broken Egg, and I was like, damn, I don't know. I don't know if this is the
Have
same
you been to
place.
the new one here?
Yeah, it was like on Daryl Carter Parkway, like right around there.
Okay, I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was
Yeah,
fire. Yeah, man, I lightweight liked it. But I'm gonna go with Sweet Mama's down in Lake Nona just because of my Lake
I
Nona.
never been there. You never took me there.
We'll have to go to we'll have to go out there. But it's breakfast, like it's hard to mess up breakfast. Like how do you mess up eggs and biscuits?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's breakfast. But my brother, man, we're coming up to an hour. We're definitely gonna have to do this again in person. Me, man, I want that in person vibe. So, maybe we could have something to drink, light up a you know, smell some smelling salts, smoke
yeah.
cigar. But that in person vibe is always better, man. Man, I humbly thank you for being my first, guest on this new podcast. I
I would.
thank you for branding the Off the Cob name, and man, I mean, hopefully, much success to you in anything you got moving forward. Which is let me kind of give you the mic to finish it off. Like, what do you have going on now? What do you want to say? How do you want to close it out?
Uh, well, first, I would like to say congratulations, and I'm proud of you for creating the podcast because
Appreciate it.
I know how long I talked about it and how many times I tried to start it and how difficult it is to actually just do it. So, congrats.
Appreciate that.
Secondly, I finally did start a podcast with Barrett Stober, Tub Street Podcast. We are on Instagram and TikTok. Tub Street Pod is our handle. We're also on YouTube. The full versions are on YouTube at Tub Street Pod. We have some shorts on there too, and I believe we're on Spotify as well. So YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, Tub Street Pod, and then I hope to eventually have the chest slap as like my own solo one, where I can have guests on similar to this. However, getting guests on has been more difficult than I originally planned. So right now, Tub Street is the one that I'm rocking with, and because it's me and Barrett, we're able to just link up
Shoot the
and
straight, yeah.
yeah, we'll talk
Easy
about
conversation.
baseball, training, youth sports, life, whatever it is, and we're
Y'all
soon we're
y'all had
working on yeah,
one question that y'all had. It was a barbecue question, and it got me
yeah.
thinking. If you're gonna judge a barbecue place, is it the ribs or is it the brisket? Like the
Well,
mark of a good barbecue place.
uh, are you asking me for my personal opinion?
I am.
I think that most people would probably say the brisket,
That's what I would say too.
but I personally think it's the mac and cheese.
See, but all right. So it is somewhat of a trick question because, in my opinion, if you're gonna have a good barbecue joint, your brisket or your ribs can't be whack. They both have to be
For
good.
sure, for sure.
Mac and
But
cheese is extremely important, but that's not a barbecue food.
if there's two barbecue places in the same parking lot, one of them clearly has better ribs or better brisket. The other one's ribs and brisket are good. They're just not fire, but they're good.
And the
But they
mac and
have
cheese is
fire mac
fire.
and cheese. I'm gonna go to the fire mac and cheese and eat good ribs before I go eat fire ribs with some shitty mac and cheese. That's
I'm
just
gonna
me personally.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Since they're in the
Yeah,
same
you're gonna
place,
go there.
I'm gonna go get the ribs and then I'm gonna get the mac and cheese next door. Since they're in the same parking lot.
That's funny.
My brother, though, man, again, I appreciate you, man. We'll do it again in house. Man, I know I'm catch you around the city soon.
All right now.
All right, my brother, man. We'll wrap.
All right, brother.
All right.
Later.